Evan taught me how to argue things out without taking it personally. It's something that all other adults learned years ago, but it was really nice to work with someone where, and we spent a lot of time together in the writing room. We got to know each other, and we got to communicate, and occasionally we get in bad moods, but we understand our favorite things, and we have our way of, we have kind of, each of us has a working model of the way the human heart navigates its way through the world, and we have slight differences, maybe even enormous ones, but we understand each other anyway. So it was very satisfying to surmount personal disagreements and come up with something that was never a compromise. It was always something we agreed with. It might have been a third thing. You know, instead of my idea or his idea would be a third thing that was our idea. It felt really, really good. Now, I'm not being smug about it because what resulted is not perfect, but it's just as a process, it feels like we're ready to make better movies all the time.
So perhaps my last question, and then I pass it through to the audience.
Sure.
It was fascinating to see like the quality of the film, also like all the special effects, reminding me on silent movie, avant-garde movie. How did you get this? All the colors? Or was it? Do you shoot still on film and then transfer it, or is it all digital effects?
That was shot. It was all digital, just raw digital. We shot it on, and spent a long time trying to make it look like how it looks. Maybe we tried to make it look better than how it looks and failed, and so it looks how it looks. But it looks how it looks, and yeah, it was many hours. I guess there's no secret to it except that we spent a lot of time studying color. I read Wittgenstein's remarks on color or notes on color, and yeah, he seemed to think that color was a linguistic problem, which didn't help me at all. But I don't know. We kind of like color, and guys worked a lot in black and white, and he wanted to move into color, and we wanted to not just move into color, but move into color. And so we did, and yeah, I don't know. We made it look the way we thought a movie should look, I guess. Or not all movies should look, just one.
And did you use like old footage also from the lost films?
No.
Any roll?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's all ours. There's maybe 6 seconds of stock footage, old stock footage in the movie.
And I know it looks like we spent a lot of time evoking the film emulsions of the past, but very early on we quit fighting the appearance of digital artifacting and just decided to embrace this as a digital work. There's digital artifacting on the screen. It's willfully kept there. We just thought, why pretend, we're not riding around on old bicycles and wearing spats and straw boaters and things like that. We're not anachronists. We just had a certain film vocabulary we wanted to use, and we wanted to embrace digital artifacting as well. I made some, Galen made most of the music, but I made some, and I have such a crummy software for making music that there was so much digital artifacting that it just sounds like someone left a bathroom sink running instead of music half the time, and we just decided to embrace that artifact as something that we're all immersed in the digital realm now. And I'm anything but a perfectionist. Galen and Evan are closer to perfectionists, but I've always, back in my early years when I was working alone at the very beginning, my only collaborator was the happy accident, and I could count on the happy accident to deliver for me all the time because I was such a poor, technically poor filmmaker that there were also a sense of surprises happening every day, and I needed those surprises. So, but now I've got real collaborators. I was getting kind of worried that the happy accident would not feel welcome on the project anymore, but they just set things up when Evan and Galen were color timing and making the movie look the way it was. They were smart enough to set it up so that they could almost program happy accidents to happen, so that the happy accident was always welcome.
Which happiest accident happened while making this film?
There's a lot of them. Well, the whole thing is one basically, you carefully set up all your dominoes, and then the waiter comes in and trips over them. And there's a big mess. The thing looks kind of organic. I like the way the movie beats. Like like a heart, or I like the way it feels like the film emulsion is old and buckly and breathing and skittering. It feels like there's a neurology in it maybe, since I was holding seances to try to channel lost scripts, and in old spirit photography, which is always black and white, always still, there's usually someone in a trance with cotton coming out of their nose or cheesecloth coming out of their ear or something like that. But I often wondered what that would look like if it was moving around, and I like the idea that it's actually the film emulsion, the film stock that actually blooms and pulses and explodes in little chemical colors and then settles down again. And that reminded me of the closest thing, that since film is by its very definition like a ghost, everything you watch in every movie at the Berlinale is an image of something that was filmed before and is no longer the way it is. Even if it was only a few days ago or a few years ago, you're looking at a ghost version. So you're looking at a species of ghosts. So I was very pleased that the film emulsion could actually be the medium which pulsated and blobbed and stretched itself out like ectoplasm. And so I guess that part, which is what Evan cooked up, was the part that invited the most accidents, and they did every second of all the outtakes, all the rushes and everything, so that they would then have the best accidents to choose from.
Thanks. Great job. So, what about you? Do you have some questions? We will have some microphones passed to you. So if you have some questions, give us a sign. Is there any question in the audience? Ah,
There's one.
yeah. Wait a second.
Microphone coming.
Yes. Seems to me that each screening of each of the films here presented in Berlin is packed, will be packed, and still when I remembered a couple of months ago that I failed to get a ticket last year, or the year before last year, for Keyhole, I had to realize that apparently there's no distribution company in Germany to present this film. So how does this fit together?
You mean how, why are the films packed?
I mean, there seems to be an audience for these films, and still there is no distributor to distribute them.
I can only see that as a shameful lack of entrepreneurial spirit in Germany. I'm kind of embarrassed for the whole country as well. There's no other explanation, really. No, I've got a niche audience. In film festivals, a city will get sort of a festival fever, and they get their curiosity suddenly blooms in them, and they get more open-minded. And it's like that at the Toronto Film Festival with Canadian films. Even people are lined up around the block to see Canadian films, but a week later you couldn't pay those same people to go see the same film. So there's a kind of a civic zeitgeist or whatever that and then everyone gets tired of it. You need to get back to your lives. Especially don't need God in your life so often or anything. It would be nice if there was distribution for all the films. I've had some, because I feel of all the festivals in Europe, I feel really, really welcome here. I feel pretty good in Paris as well, and of course in Toronto and New York. Those are my favorite cities to appear in with a film, but I don't know, we'll see. Like I say, it's just up to Germany to pull its socks up.
Is there any more question? Any question? I can't believe this.
First of all, thank you very much for a wonderful film.
Thank you.
My question is, I remember you talking about this project after Keyhole, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
And you talked about this project of summoning the spirits of lost films, which I thought, yeah, that sounds great, but I just couldn't imagine how it's going to be done. And I would like to know how much those seances influenced actually the plot of the film, how much the ghosts told you, how much the actors influenced actually the storyline themselves, and also how did those seances look like, what actually was it?
Well, the seances, the seance to spiritism with all the actors, we literally gathered around a table or just made them hold hands with each other, and it was. I've never been what you'd call an actor's director, but I've learned